The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
This is a special day. It's New Year's Eve, and for that reason, we are going to have two markets guests joining us now to discuss the crypto markets. Andre Portillo is head of digital assets at BTG Pactual, and Greg Johnson is co-founder and CEO of Rubicon Crypto. Good morning, Andre and Greg.
Morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here on such an exciting day. Almost the end of the year, our last show of the year. Let's start off with you, Greg. You said something kind of interesting here. You said that this whole debacle, this whole kerfuffle. I don't even know how to describe what's going on with FTX. I mean, there are other ways to describe it, but this is a family-friendly program. You said it's an ironic holiday gift to the industry that's setting the stage for 2023. All right, explain that.
You know, Lawrence, my mood was decidedly worse about a month ago, but the speed of the collapse, I think, was only matched by the speed in which the plot turned over the last couple of weeks. When you see state witnesses coming to bear, when you see major players pleading and getting deals done as quickly, when you see the prosecution arms working as quickly as they did, this was the best gift to the industry any of us could have hoped for. If this had dragged out for months or quarters into 2023, I think there would have been an incredible drag on what could have been an otherwise better performance for the industry. But because we've seen this fold very, very quickly, because you've seen not one, but two senior executives come in, make deals with all the various people that are going to be involved, I think it's the best gift we could have possibly hoped for in the worst story, obviously, of 2022.
Andre, you buy that? You agree with him?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a gift, but I think the direction is the same. I mean, this will clear the market, and the fact that it happened so fast and we don't carry over in 2023, for sure it will be good for the industry. Also, things are speeding up, not only in solving all the FTX problems, but also in what the industry will do from now, from the regulatory side and from the building perspective, that I think everybody who is in this business and survive will be in a much better shape when all this mess goes through.
You know, Andre, we asked, how are you looking at this upcoming year, 2023? You broke it up into three pieces: the markets, technology, and regulation. Let's start off with the markets, because that's, the way you're looking at it. What do you expect the Fed to do? How are they? Do you think they're going to conquer inflation, or do you think, 2%? That's out of reach. Getting back to 2%, no, it's not happening. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just very quickly, because I mean, this last crypto crash was driven by external force, by macro force, okay, and that triggered a lot of more crypto specific bursts, right? But the point is, the first part of the adjustment in the macro scenario is already done, okay? The Fed hiked it a lot. Inflation now is probably under control. You're going to see inflation coming down from now. Not sure, not clear yet how deep will be the recession. But bring the inflation from 8-9% to 4-5%. It's the easy task. The hard task, and I'm talking as a Brazilian here, right, who went through a long periods of high inflation. Bringing inflation from 4-5% to the Fed target of 2%, that will be the hardest part. And it's not clear to me yet. I mean, we already know that we're going to be higher for longer, okay? But it's not clear yet if the Fed will have to use like a more bitter medicine to achieve this goal, or if we're going to be on this scenario for, I don't know, 2-3 years in a higher inflation, which, again, as a Brazilian, is not necessarily a good thing, okay? Because then you start going into this inertia process of inflation.
Greg, what do you think? Do you think that the Fed has a handle, or do you think you agree that this is going to be out of control?
I think one of the things that I think these major institutions, Lawrence, are starting to wrap around is that when you get inflation as wrong as the Fed did, and I would not want that job. Can you imagine the complexity of trying to figure out how we should be dealing with central bank interest rate policy? But the reality is this year did more with the miss on inflation to actually bring people to be open-minded into the industry. I think they're going to be a little bit more cautious this year in terms of the speed and the severity if they do see additional hikes coming in. To us, though, at Rubicon, what we've advised clients, whether it's families, institutions, financial advisors, the most important thing for the digital asset industry to really grow is one of the other bullet points you mentioned, and that's really regulation. When you and I last spoke on the show in October, I said that the only way we're really going to break through this winter that we're seeing is if we finally see meaningful regulation in the United States take hold in 2023. And until that happens, again, another irony. The irony is the regulation is really what is going to be needed. As a matter of fact, what we're saying is we see a crypto winter going straight into an endless summer of regulation. There's going to be no crypto spring. And I can tell you, when I was in DC at a Blockchain Association event, and news was breaking of Sam Bankman-Fried's interview on Twitter, the notorious interview where he made disparaging comments about regulators can, what, and there was comments about we only paraded around Washington for PR. It lit the city up. And so we think that the best chance for major growth is going to come from regulation. We believe that will begin with stable coins. And just follow the money, Lawrence. Look at how much money is going to the DC lobbying groups that are involved with advancing stablecoin policy right now. That's one of the things we're watching very closely at Rubicon.
And that's the same thing as well. You're seeing, as Andre, correct? Is particularly the stablecoin regulation. Where do you see that going this coming year? I mean, obviously it's the backbone, if you will, of the crypto industry is converting fiat into something that can be moved around in blockchain. That's through stablecoins, CBDCs. US CBDC is a long way away, it seems. How do you think it's going to be regulated? Do you think that there's more impetus now that we had this collapse of FTX and actually Terra Luna as well, which was also on everyone's mind up until November?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Regulation will be key for the industry to move on. There's no way to avoid regulation, especially when we're talking about financial service, okay? And probably the first move being stable coins, okay? Stable coins was an excellent tool that the crypto industry invented to be able to move in and out from the blockchain. And it can have enormous other applications with the technology. And so it makes sense for the regulators to start with that. Not only because maybe it's simpler, okay, but it's what drives the crypto world right now, not only, let's say, centralized crypto, but also DeFi. So that's the first step. It's hard to understand, especially in the US, where things are not that clear to me, how heavy the hand of regulation will be. I hope that, it will be a light hand, but we still to understand that. And hopefully we will move from this first, let's say, stablecoin regulation to properly regulating the other intermediaries, given like exchange, custodians, and service providers, and then to later going to DeFi. Okay, that's a very tricky question and a very complex one. So I think if regulators move in this direction, I think they will have a better chances of making a proper regulation.
I actually want to bring up a tweet. We're kind of running low on time, but I want to bring this up because it kind of, you guys are talking about DeFi and what have you, and of course I'm bringing up Solana. Solana, it had a slight bump, a very slight bump. Let's not get our hopes up high if you're long Solana. But Vitalik Buterin, of course, one of the founders of Ethereum, tweeted this, put out this tweet today. He said, some smart people tell me there is an earnest, smart developer community in Solana. So he says smart people are telling him about this. And now that the awful opportunistic money people have been washed out, the chain has a bright future. This kind of speaks a little bit to your theories here on the builders going into the market, or the builders staying in the market, and the big money leaving. What do you see? Do these alts have a chance, these so-called Ethereum killers? Again, Vitalik isn't saying he knows of smart developers. He said he heard a rumor. Maybe there were people that were smart. That I don't know. They showed up and they started coding, and somebody might have told me about it. But is this?
Can I give a couple of suggested New Year's resolutions for the industry, please? The first would be, can we please focus on better code, on having better technology? Obviously I can barely spell C++. There are brilliant, gifted technologists that are working on meaningful projects across the globe right now. The attention has to get back on the focus on the tech, and not giving so much easy fodder for all of the regulators and for all of the critics in the industry when you put this stuff up on a silver platter. It's ridiculous and it needs to stop. And the second thing we need to get away from very quickly is we need to resolve that we stop acting as if the world needs to be all TradFi and no DeFi, or all DeFi and no TradFi. We are in a generation that is going to engineer the future of money, but we're going to be living in a world of hybrid finance. This is a hi-fi period. It's not going away. We're going to have to work in parallel at times, together at times, and to compete at times. And we just need to get over it as an industry.
Andre, get you in with the last word.
I like what I heard, and I think crypto markets sometimes they put things like too much polarized, right? It's always when Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. What are the Ethereum killers? It's DeFi or CeFi. So probably the world that we're going to see, it's a more mixed world. I can pretty much see this year a lot of projects being done together between protocols, DeFi protocols, and institutions, given using DeFi tools to get more efficient in traditional markets and building the bridge to these, let's say, a whole world of money. So I like what I heard. I mean, let's stop thinking about these polarized narratives and focus more in build stuff that actually work. And I like about code, right? Code, because we need to have better code in DeFi. We need to have better secure code that we cannot be hacked every once in a while. And so we need to rebuild not only trust, but also actual usage in the crypto world. And I think we're moving in that direction, okay? I think the discussions, every conference that I take part, the discussions are way more mature than they were 2 years ago, 1 year ago. Right, so people are talking about infrastructure. People are talking about how to make the technology more secure. People are talking about regulations. So I think we're moving in the right direction.